Hey guys, welcome to Quinian's Budget Crafts. So Ryan from the Discord put out a challenge for August. You can pause and read it right here, but basically buy a bunch of stuff from the dollar store and make it cool. Okay, Ryan, challenge accepted. So here's what I got, because I had no idea what I might actually do. I wanted to use this 2 AAA battery light because it's a lot brighter compared to the standard T lights. So I chopped it down and messed with it a whole bunch trying to make it fit in there, but in the end it ended up not working. There were some other important bits in the mix of all this not working though, so one thing you'll need to do is replace the tank barrel. I originally wanted to do that with a straw, but again, that didn't work out very well because it's just too bendy. This thing here is a piece of trash from one of those dollar store pull the string party popper things. We need the small funnel bit on the end of it to make the barrel flare out on the end just like the original. So go ahead and cut that piece off. Skipping ahead about 2 days of frustration, grab a pin, also from the dollar store, and rip out the pin part of it. That still works, so you can still use it, but what we want is the housing. It's about the right size and it's nice and stiff. Glue the little cone thingy to the end of it. This ends up coming off later and I stick it on with hot glue, but we'll get to that. So we need a bullet, or a tank round. I also got this little missile launcher car thing. I had another one, and I have no idea what I did with the part that I cut off of it, so we'll use the nose cone from the missile on this one. Just stab into it, and then bring the X-Acto down, rotate it, bring the X-Acto down, and so on until you've sliced it all the way off. If you try to cut it off with clippers or something, you'll end up breaking it. Mark on the pin where the bands should be, and then use some of that leather lace stuff we used in the cannons video to add some banding. Looking at the original barrel, they look like they're about every third or so of the way up. Still messing with this stupid light, I hot glued the stiff wires so they wouldn't touch inside the pin. That did work, but it just kept causing problems. The light was annoying me, so I decided to move on to something else. Take a push pin or a needle, heat it up, and then stuff it into the back of the bullet you made. Then put the head of the pin in the flare-out thing behind the light. Push the cone up the wire, trapping the head of the pin behind the light. And then just hot glue all of it up, making sure to leave the space between the bullet and the light itself. Still messing with this light. The wires were way too stiff, and I just couldn't get it to sit where I wanted, so I cut off the stiff wires, freeing it from the battery part, thinking that I would use the battery section of a standard T-light. Problem with the new T-lights that the dollar store switched to is they have really terrible switches on them. You want the kind that go side to side. The kind where the switch goes towards the middle of the light breaks as soon as you take the cover off. So, okay, enough of that. New plan. Toss that stuff aside. Clip off the things the tank's wheels were on, and then cut out a little section to mount a real light switch. These switches are not from the dollar store. I have a link to them on my webpage, but I don't know if this would be a DQ from the challenge or not. I consider these to fit in the same grouping as glues and stuff, expandable doodads, that kind of thing, but whatever, I'm using them. Just wire them up the same as I showed in the wiring video. Otherwise, here's a quick reference image. Once you get done with that, push the barrel up through the bottom and then hot glue it into the tank turret. This is going to take quite a while for the glue to dry, but that does give you plenty of work time to get the turret back on and double check that everything's lined up how you like. I wanted mine to be slightly off center with the barrel slightly up because it's more interesting looking than everything being straight. Then just go ahead and smash everything under there and hot glue it all down. Just make sure you don't glue the battery into the battery holder. I wouldn't know anything about that. Okay, so these weird little pegs are supposed to be idler wheels, but they look really strange, so yeah, no, cut those off. This thing has enough flex to it that you can get in there with some flush cutters and trim them nice and, well, flush. Take the rocket car and pop all the wheels off of it and trim the little nubs sticking out of the back. You have to kind of pull them as far as possible and then snip the pin running through them in order to get them off. When you're all done, you'll have this husk left over that's actually kind of cool. Toss that into your toy box. It'll be a good post-apocalypse bit for sure. So with these wheels, just put some hot glue on there and stick them down. Put all of them all the way against the top of the track area and spaced in between the wheels below them. If you get squeeze out, that's totally fine. These things leak so much grease it's insane, so it's actually pretty historically accurate to have squeeze out. As for the paint job, well, I don't mind solid green on older tanks, but this isn't OD green, this is Army Man green. So take a can of the flat OD green and spray the whole thing. Just make sure you get under the turret too. I left a dead battery in the holder so I didn't get any paint on the contacts. So that's looking a lot better, but it's kind of boring. This cheapy toy actually has a lot of really nice details on it, so just go through and paint them however you want. There are some hand tools on here, so probably give them a wood handle. These little blocks up front are wood blocks for propping the thing up while you're working on it, so they can be brown with some silver metal straps holding them down. Do the other various metal bits in a silver or whatever it is you like. Paint the bullet copper. I know tank rounds are actually like a bright yellow with red stripes or whatever, but copper's fine here. The real colors would look kind of odd on this. Maybe for a 40K build or something I would do it right. On the tracks, all the lower areas, do them in pavement. Those are the padded bits in between the metal. They should actually be raised, not lower, but whatever, it'll be fine. Do the inside of the track the same color too. Then I took some pewter gray and went over anything that looks like it might be vents or metal grates or anything like that, plus a couple other areas that I wanted unpainted metal but not shiny. Put a little no step on these large flat things because why not? Then take a silver or gray and highlight all the raised parts of the tracks. Don't forget the outside part too. Then with a sponge and some nutmeg and melted chocolate, go through and add mud all over. Along the bottom of the tracks, the front where it might have nosedived into a puddle, up the back because the tracks spray like crazy. Maybe some on top, just wherever. Alright, now take a cotton ball, shred it up as much as you can, split it in two, and then use a little glue of your choice to stick it around the wire holding the bullet. Stick it to the back of the bullet and the end of the barrel too. With a little black spray paint, you can spray from real far away and give this thing a smoky look. The best way I found to not spray my model is just cover it in a paper towel. Once you get the black on how you like it, hit it with a clear coat. And because this smoke is sort of directional, if you spray the last bit of clear coat from the front, you'll get the sideways mushroom cloud effect because it'll blow all the cotton back. I did get a lot of black on the bullet part, but I don't mind that. You could touch it up a little if you wanted it to be shiny. If the cotton needs any adjusting, you can do that with the tip of an X-Acto. Just pick at it and pull it wherever you want, but don't use your fingers or you'll smash it and make it look weird. Alright, time for a look at this thing. You can't really see the light effect with the artificial sun I have, so let's turn that off and go with normal room lights. That looks pretty good, but we still need to do a wash on this. I don't want to drench it in black wash, so instead I'll use a brush and put it where grime would build up on its own, and then use the sponge trick again to just sort of blot it all over without going 100% full coverage. And there you go, guys. At 25mm scale, this is actually the exact same size as an Abrams. So if you need a tank mini for your wargaming, this is one way to go about it. If you enjoyed the video and would like to support the channel, you can do so on Patreon or Ko-fi. Go get on that Discord if you're not already so that you can do the monthly challenge too, link below. But anyway, as always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one.